March is National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and we are learning from a survivor story today. Ashley Pedro joins us now from Albion, Nebraska. Ashley, thanks for joining us. We want to learn a little bit about your story, first of all. Tell us what that looks like for you.
So I had been anemic for about 5 years. I had been told by doctor after doctor after doctor that I needed to just take slow FE and everything would be fine. So that's what I did. I took slow FE, everything would be good, and then I would stop taking it because prior to this, I wasn't really much of a pill taker. And then once I stopped taking it, I had the issue again and ended up having the iron problems again. This went on for years and years and years. Finally, in the summer of 2020, I tried to enlist in the Air National Guard in Lincoln, Nebraska. And the recruiter came and met with us and said, "You're a little bit older, so you're going to have to give us pretty much everything. If you've had a Band-Aid, you need to get the medical records for that." So I spent quite a bit collecting all of that information, sent it to them, and the person that reviewed my case said her hemoglobin in itself is too low and too dangerously low of a count that it's automatically disqualifying. So I went straight to my PA here at Boone County Health Center, and she said, let's do a CT scan. Well, to make a long story short, we did a CT scan. She was able to roll a mass, and we found 3 different masses on that first CT scan. A little bit later, we sat down because I was supposed to get a colonoscopy, and they said, "You have stage 4 colon cancer, and we need to get you into surgery in 6 days because the one in your colon is almost enclosing it."
Okay, so you hear that news. You're in your early 30s. What thoughts do your brain immediately go to? Like, what happened?
We were shocked. I have no family history. So, a lot of the things that they say is know your family history, for any cancer, not just colorectal. Know your family history, know the signs and symptoms of different things, listen to your body, that kind of stuff. I have no family history. So when we were told that, I was just kind of in shock. I immediately started crying because they had told us earlier, this is probably what is going on. This is probably what we're seeing. But my PA couldn't say this is what it is. It had to be somebody, a surgeon or an oncologist, to actually say this is what this diagnosis is. So we kind of had a heads up, but I was in shock. And I remember my husband looking over at me and the doctor and saying, "I have a family history. It should be me in this spot, not her." And so when you're in that position, you don't think about anything. I didn't think about my age. I didn't think about, work. It was devastating for us.
So you sit here now and you are telling your story, which is just a miracle in and of itself, Ashley. What do people need to know about colorectal cancer?
Colorectal cancer was known as an old man's disease. It is not an old man's disease. Colorectal cancer is taking so many lives. We're not just getting diagnosed, we're dying of this. There have been so many people that I've met. I'm actually an ambassador for Fight Colorectal Cancer out of Springfield, Missouri. And I've met so many people that have colorectal cancer, and it's amazing at how young everybody is. Whenever I go to chemo, or whenever I was going to chemo, you would look around at the chemo room and you would see older people, which is what you would think. But then younger and younger people, just like me, would trickle in. And there's since I've been diagnosed, I know of quite a few people that have been recently diagnosed or that were diagnosed, shortly before I was or shortly after I was. It's something that is very dangerous. You have got to know your family history. If your family history is showing that you have colorectal cancer or colon or rectal cancer, you have to go get screened. If you're having signs and symptoms, bleeding of the rectum, black starry stools, stuff like that, you have to pay attention to what your body is telling you. Your body is pretty smart, and it'll give you hints as to what's going on, and you've got to pay attention to that. And then the next step is advocating for yourself. You have got to go into the doctor and beg and plead and borrow for them to do something about it. If you know something's wrong with your body, you have to push it forward, because I know a lot of people will go in and be told, this is hemorrhoids. You're too young to have colon cancer. I've read so many books that have said that. And it's sad to me, because this is something that if you don't catch early, I'm at stage 4. There is no stage 5. Like the future for me is unknown. Once I run out of medications, there are no more options for me. Colorectal cancer is preventable, and the way it's preventable is to go get screened. I've never had a colonoscopy, but I've had the clean out, and it's not that bad. If I could go back and have that colonoscopy at a younger age, knowing what I know now and knowing that anemia is a symptom, I would much rather have done that 5 years ago and had a polyp and had the polyp removed.
Ashley, you had shared that you are now an open book with your story, urging people to get tested, urging people to trust their bodies and advocate for themselves. And you are in the process of writing a book. Do you want to share a little bit about that and what you're doing?
I started blogs on Facebook back in 2021 when I first was diagnosed, and I would to me, it was better to be open to people, because we live in a small town. So instead of repeating myself, 30 times a day of what the doctor said or of what we had found out on a CT scan or of how I was feeling, it was just easier for me to write it out. So I did a bunch of different blogs, and I thought, you know what? People on Facebook that are friends with me have seen this and they know my story, but other people out there that are not my friend or that are getting newly diagnosed with colorectal cancer, they don't know this stuff. And I'm not an expert on colorectal cancer by any means, and I am not a doctor, but I have experience. And I feel like by putting together all of the blogs that I've done and by trying to get this book out there to the public, it'll at least help people see the things that the doctors don't say. Like, I don't even know an example right now, but there's a lot of things that the doctors don't tell you. Like, they can prescribe you medications, they can do all that stuff, but you have to listen to your body and whatever your body is telling, like sleep. Your body is going to tell you if you need to sleep. After this interview, I'm going to take a nap because I can. But I'm trying to help people that are newly diagnosed or that have a family member that has been newly diagnosed. Maybe they'll grab the book and say, oh my gosh, because I recorded every conversation from every doctor that we saw. And so my blogs are very informative. I am very open and honest about how I was feeling, the symptoms that I had that day, just everything. And I feel like by putting that book together, that I'll be able to, if I can help one person, then my goal has been met.
All right. A fascinating story. We're so glad you're here to share it with us. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Thank you.